welcome back to our channel. Bill was torn apart by an uncontrollable storm when the truth about Andre and Dani was revealed before his eyes like a sharp knife slashing straight into his heart, which had been hardened by years of power, struggle and pride that did not allow anyone to offend. The wedding photos and the phone fell to the floor, the screen shattered into thousands of pieces, reflecting his red eyes with anger. The wine glass in his hand shattered, drops of dark red liquid like blood spread on the floor, as if to signal a tragedy that was forming. In that moment, Bill not only found himself betrayed by a lover, but also the complete collapse of his trust in Andre, the person he had raised, considered as a son, given not only love but also expectations. As for Dani, the taboo that he had warned himself against had become an open wound, bleeding every day, turning temptation into a cold, unforgivable betrayal. He was buried between two opposing emotions, the desire to hold on, and the desire to destroy everything to prove that his power had never weakened. In Bill's mind, this incident was not simply a love or a private relationship, but a heavy blow to the honor of the entire family. He had once prided himself on being able to control everything, from his family to those who had wanted to oppose him. However, in his own home, the very people he trusted chose to betray him with secrecy, with marriages that took place behind his back like a joke. The dark night in his soul exploded into dark thoughts, where every solution was tinged with violence and revenge. He wanted to tear apart the veil of lies that covered the family, wanted to expose Andre and Dani in front of everyone so they would pay for their stupidity. But at the same time, there was a deep part of him that trembled, because if he did, it would mean admitting that he had allowed himself to become a victim, an old man who could no longer control his own heart. Andre, in Bill's eyes, had never been a mediocre person. He was smart, ambitious, and knew how to use trust to climb up the family ladder. Bill had thought that Andre was loyal, that his closeness was a testament to his gratitude. But now, all that was left was a cleverly concealed plan, a cruel stab in the back. The more Bill thought about it, the more he felt like a clown, a blind foster father who was destroyed by the very person he had supported. Dani was an even deeper wound. She had made him believe that there was a bond between them that transcended social norms, that their feelings were real, even though they were surrounded by danger and secrecy. But the truth of their secret marriage turned it all into a deception, an insult he could not forgive. Bill's inner turmoil erupted in waves, each thought like fuel to an erupting volcano. He wondered if he had been a pawn in Andre and Dani's game of power all along. Had they conspired together to seize the Dupree family's fortune, reputation, and position? Or had they simply been swept up in their passions, and unwittingly trampled on everything he had stood for? Whatever the reason, Bill felt his existence was being challenged, as if the strong man who had once made many forces tremble was now just a betrayed person, pushed aside from the story of his own family. Every step he took in the house now echoed with the sound of cold metal, the space heavy as if wanting to crush his erratic heart. Two people arose within him, a proud father who wanted to punish to regain his honor, and a man dominated by emotions, who wanted to bury his head in alcohol to forget the pain. But how could he forget when every wall, every family photo frame seemed to mock him, reminding him that power could not control another's heart? Anger turned into a form of dark energy, urging Bill to act. He thought of kicking both Andre and Dani out of the family, cutting off all ties and making them public enemies. But another, more sinister thought crept into his mind, to destroy them from within, to turn their marriage into a nightmare with no way out. He could use his power, money, and connections to make them lose their place. In his rage, Bill realized he had crossed the line of reason, that he was willing to destroy everything he loved just to satisfy the rage that burned in his heart. But amidst all his madness, a small part of him screamed. That part reminded him that Dani, despite her betrayal, had once been his love, that Andre, despite her betrayal, had once been his own. If he destroyed them, it would be like destroying himself, admitting that he had failed not only in love but also as a leader. That internal conflict drove Bill even more insane, because he could not choose a path without losing something. On one side was the family honor, on the other was the remnants of the love that had kept him alive. The room became a battlefield of conflicting emotions. His breathing, his heartbeat, and the cracking sound in Bill's mind. He picked up the broken phone, looking at the cracked screen as if looking at himself, a powerful man, but crushed by a small thing called betrayal. In that moment, Bill knew that this anger would not easily disappear. It would haunt him, would lead him into dark decisions, and each decision would push him further away from the man he was, turning him into a living ghost seeking revenge. The shadow of betrayal had been cast, and Bill, whether he wanted it or not, was drawn into a journey with no way out. He was no longer a victim, but someone who would turn everything around him into ashes if it meant washing away his humiliation. And in the darkness of the long night, only one truth echoed in his mind. Andre and Dani had put an end to everything, but he would be the one to write this tragic chapter with his hands stained with the blood of rage. Follow and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with the shocking and dramatic developments of the ongoing movie.